It's the Close the Deal show. Welcome, San Francisco viewers. It's a wonderful day, and it's glad to have you all back. Why is it so glad to have you back? Because today, it's another public announcement. And we're going to talk about a very, what I deem as an important issue, because recently, on my other job, I've partaken in some activities where I've had the opportunity to eat at different places. But the service, oh my, the customer service was not what I really wanted to experience. So today, for small business owners and entrepreneurs specifically, what I would like for you all to be aware of is a particular issue called customer perceived value. And what I want to talk about is these experiences that I had at a lot of different delis, a lot of little restaurants, and what I actually experienced from the customer service representatives at these retail and food places was I learned the importance of how a customer is supposed to be treated. So ideally for me as a customer, I expect for my value to be treated honorably because I'm spending my money with an establishment and I don't expect for any type of rudeness. So a lot of owners may not be aware of the employees that they have character development. But today, what I would like to share with you is my experience at these establishments in which I did not be able to see a lot of, how would I say, character in the actual representative. I'm talking about compassion type character. I'm talking about humility type character. And I'm also referring to calmness. I understand a lot of establishments are busy and people are always on the go, especially in restaurants or fast food chains. But it's good for a customer service representative to smile. It tells a lot about who that person it is, but it makes a person feel comfortable in wanting to come back. It also indicates, that you may have a good personality when you make eye contact when you're actually selling the product. So a friendly comment is a good thing to display as well. And the reason why I'm going into this is because recently at these establishments that I partake in, I don't want to use any names in particular because I don't want to get sued. So ideally, I think it's important that I be very discreet in what I'm actually referring to. But what I'm talking about is the benefit of buying a product from a particular company and the service benefit. We all like to be treated respectfully. And one of the things that I find very offensive is being shown some type of rudeness or biasness in any establishment. So keep this in mind, business owners. Make sure your employees are very clear and aware of your mission value as well as your company's product, because when people come into your store, 9 times out of 10, you don't want to have an employee with the mindset, is this going to be a waste of my time when you're trying to provide a service? No customer at any given point should be a waste of your time. That's why I believe a lot of employees need to be trained a certain way, because whether a person is going through a bad day or not, it's very important for your employee to have a lot of humility when selling your product. Because the personal benefit of your company for the customer is the fact that they want to come back and buy your product again. There's many of people that compete with the same type of service that you provide, but it's the way your employees treat the customer which makes them come back to buy your good product. So I want to share more details about customer perceived value and what it actually entails for the customer. When someone is in a rush and they may be on their lunch break, they want to know, is this time cost for them? This is the benefit for the customer. But if they're not provided the proper adequate service where the energy they're putting into coming to your place, whether it's a walk by, whether it's online, or whether it's a call, psychologically, they want to appreciate the service that you're providing them based on the image that you've provided through your service. You deliver on time, you got good quality food, you got good sales representative that is displaying your product. So overall, this is an economic, functional, and psychological benefit for the customer, as well as evaluating how the customer chooses to continue to come back to your service. That's the importance for you as a business owner, obtaining that type of service on a continuous basis, ongoingly. So please, in all these areas in San Francisco and abroad, in the Peninsula, outside of San Francisco, make sure that your employees, right, don't show any rudeness, don't show any biasness. And if there's a problem with the customer, let the manager or the owner handle that type of situation. Because 9 times out of 10, people will have an attitude, but not the customer service representative. It's important to have calmness. And it's important to make sure you adequately provide the right type of service. Okay? So let's keep that in mind, because a lot of that entails character. And it doesn't matter, if you're right as the customer service representative. But ideally, we want the customer to be satisfied. And the way we can do that is to be reminded. What is that? You need to be reminded as an employee how to understand the customer's needs, what the customer's desire is, and most importantly, how to satisfy that customer. And the way you plan to do that is to be a good listener through your compassion, through your humility. Because overall, this is the customer perceived value. Are you listening to me? Do you understand what my desire and concerns are? If you're not, then I can always take my business elsewhere. And not saying that it may not affect you, but you never know who your potential customer is. So I just wanted to acknowledge that as a public announcement, because a lot of times when we go to these local establishments and we don't receive, and I'm talking about mom and pop stores, nearby restaurants, fast food places, we don't receive adequate service, not because a person may be from a different language barrier, but because they're not adequately trained. So sometimes, customers, we have to be aware that it may be because you're not receiving the right service is because their manager may not be providing the right training. So it's important, owners, employers, to train your customer service representatives adequately and effectively so they can perform properly. Because no one wants poor service as well as yourself. Because we all like to receive the best type of service. So it's very important to don't forget these tips. So before I close out, I definitely would like to share something very important. Recently, an individual by the name of Howard Dancel was on this show. I'd like to show you who Howard is.
First and foremost is I want to thank you for this opportunity to hear my side of the story. Appreciate your your kindness. Uh, anyway, I just got out 23 days ago.
Congratulations. Welcome home.
There, this is my first holiday I'm gonna spend outside, and hopefully it will be forever. But anyway, I support this organization because I want to make a change for myself and for the rest of the gang banger out there. And I think my experience is more worth it than anybody on this organization. I mean, on my fellow inmate over here. I've been stabbed, I've been shot, and luckily they never got me, and I survived. But thank you for Rudy Corpus for taking me to step up on this UP, and I would love to support this group for good cause, you know. And for the people out there who's still banging, my only advice is never take a gun in your hand and take that gun away from you. That will put you in jail.
Mr. Howard was on this show with a well-renowned nonprofit organization called United Players. And unfortunately, Mr. Howard did 32 years in prison in San Francisco for a crime that he committed back in 1985. This man was released 90 days ago. He spent 90 days and 1 day out before, unbeknownst, he had a heart attack and his life was taken. How does this all perceive with customer service value? Well, we're talking about character, right? And once Mr. Howard had a character where he didn't care about human life. He didn't care about being rude, disrespectful, or biased. But when he got out, he changed his values long before he was able to give it a second chance. And him changing his values, he developed the same type of compassion and humility and calmness to help young kids, youth at United Players with their homework. The same type of compassion that a customer service representative should have when they are standing before a customer, okay, and at the cash register. So it's very important that if you can see that Mr. Howard Dancel changed his life around as a customer service representative, it don't take but a second for you to realize what type of service you need to provide your customer. The same way Mr. Howard Dancel realized why he was here, what type of service he wanted to provide for his community. To me, this goes hand in hand with him redeveloping his character. And that's what we're talking about when we providing a service and a need for a customer. He provided a service to the youth the same way a customer service is supposed to provide service to their customer that is trying to buy a product. So I want to dedicate this particular show, to Mr. Howard Dancel. May his soul rest in peace. Because not only was he of service while he was here in the community, but he made a difference by realizing that his calmness helped him touch many people's lives as well as myself. He came on the show to fight the gun buyback, to remove guns off the streets. So when someone comes into your establishment, they come in to buy something, but because of your image and how you treat them, will make them want to come back even more. So just remember, if you want to close the right deal, then do the right thing. Have a great day. Tune in Monday nights on Channel 29. cable Comcast, or YouTube. Take care.